Welcome back to Bearcat Update. I'm your host, John Walker. We had a full week of action, so let's start with one of the most anticipated games last week, which was both the men and women's basketball games against the University of Central Missouri. The men came back for revenge after losing their one and only game in 21 months to Central Missouri on December 7th, and they dominated the Mules 81-47. The women also fought hard throughout their game, and although they did not come out on top, they eventually lost 73-60 to the number 18 Jennies. On Saturday, both teams battled Lincoln University, and both teams came out with a win. The women won 59-45, and the men beat the Blue Tigers 96-49. Let's take a look at some of those highlights.
This one starts with Erica Schlosser feeding it down low to Peyton Rao, who gets the left-handed layup to go. Jalen Haggard with the drive, Haggard with the fake, Haggard with the turnaround bucket. She'd go on to drop 15 against the Jennies. Jana Green right here working with Kylie Coleman. Those two, a little give-and-go action, and that is good for the easy layup for Kylie Coleman. She's been quite the spark for the women lately. Here comes a sequence of three. There's that one from Jalen Haggard, another one from Kendi Eaton, but those efforts were not enough for the women to beat the Jennies. You would be lying if you say that you haven't heard this before. Trevor Hudgens 3, Trevor Hudgens bang. Fast forward in this one, you want more Trevor Hudgens highlights? You got him. The guard with the flashy pass finds Luke Waters, who puts it off the glass and in for the easy layup. Ryan Hawkins gets the bucket to go. He finished leading all scorers with 27. Hudgens loses it, kicks it out to Wes Dreamer, and the freshman gets the three to go. Hudgens, it's only right for him to close things off against Central Missouri. Him and Hawk combined for 47 to out the Mules. We move to Saturday. It was the annual Pink Out game, and Mallory McConkey right there with the dance move during introductions. Deja Vu, Schlosser, Rao to start the game, left-handed layup. It's good. Bearcats up early. Lincoln was not going to come into Bearcat Arena without putting up a fight. Tigers get the easy layup. But Northwest had an answer, Kendi Eaton, where she returned to the starting lineup. Bang! She gets a three to go. Lincoln gets another one to go in. The Tigers, as already mentioned, were not going anywhere until Northwest went on a run to end the game. Jana Green nailing that three down the stretch to will Northwest past the Blue Tigers. To the men we go. Stop me if you've heard this before. Ryan Hawkins drives to the lane for the easy layup. And just like the women, Lincoln was not going to go anywhere without a fight, or so the Tigers thought. Diego Bernard with the post fade right here. Kobe. Fast forward in this game a little bit. Lincoln tries to make a comeback, and the Blue Tigers were fighting to keep their hopes alive for a chance in the MIAA tournament. If they wanted a higher seed than where they sit right now, they were going to have to beat the #1 Bearcats on their home court. But the MIAA player candidate, Trevor Hudgens, set a new career high with 36 to push the Bearcats past Lincoln.
With the win over Lincoln, the men clinch a spot in the MIAA tournament March 4th in Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City, Missouri. The women are still looking to do that. Both teams will be back in action with a two-game road trip against Missouri Southern on Thursday and Pitt State on Saturday. We are going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We talk Northwest baseball and softball when we come back. You're watching Bearcat Update on KNWT, Channel 8. Welcome back to Bearcat Update. Last week, the baseball team competed in their second series of games this season. The team traveled to Arkadelphia, Arkansas to compete in the Henderson State Invitational. The team played a total of 3 games, finishing off the Invitational with 3 straight wins. Our reporter Derek Campbell caught up with catcher Ethan Judd and second baseman Tim Olson to see how the team is doing throughout their first couple of weeks. Derek.
The Northwest baseball team reflects on their first series of games to settle into the season. I met with senior second baseman Tim Olson to get his thoughts on opening weekend.
Oh, it was fun. Opening weekend's always a blast. So, getting down into Oklahoma, getting some 75-degree weather, just kind of getting the nerves out of you, getting some excitement. So it was awesome. We had a blast.
Freshman catcher Ethan Judd and Tim Olson express the atmosphere of the team this season.
Well, at least here it's the guys. I mean, the guys make it a lot of fun and make practice enjoyable to come to every day.
I think just coming out every day and being up with your best friends, playing a game you love, I think that's my favorite part. I mean, it's a game at the end of the day, and you're going to be here 4 or 5 hours a day. So I think just being with some really good group of guys, some of my best friends. So I think that's probably my favorite part.
Being a senior, Olsen plans to make the best out of the season and enjoying his last year with the team.
Being a senior, I think I'm more comfortable. There's really no stress. Last year, just want to make the most of it, have fun. So I think that's the biggest thing I've changed, is just taking the pressure off myself and going out and having fun. So
the Northwest baseball team is looking to improve on their skills and competitiveness for the season. I'm Derek Campbell, reporting for Bearcat Update.
Thanks, Derek. The team will be back in action this week starting Thursday, playing in the MIAA GLVC Challenge in Joplin, Missouri. Also, make sure to check out our YouTube exclusive on the Northwest baseball team to see what their secret weapon is for the season.
Honestly, this year, I would say the main superstition, we've got a little mascot. His name's Jeffrey. He's a horse. So every inning we like to come in and pet him and make sure he's all right. So I think that this year especially is probably my biggest superstition. I actually I left him in my hotel room our first game and we lost 8-1. So bringing him the next day, we explode for 16 runs. So I think that kind of set the tone, and I can't forget him now. And so yeah, that's probably number one.
So you're in charge of Jeffrey then?
I was in charge. Well, I was in charge until I forgot him, and then I kind of lost my privilege. So, but yeah, okay. I'm not necessarily in charge anymore.
Jumping into their new year, the Northwest softball team competed in their first tournament of the season. The team traveled to Mankato, Minnesota to play in the Minnesota State D2 Softball Classic. Our reporter Nolan Brooks caught up with the team before they headed out to see how they prepared for the start of the new campaign. Nolan.
A new decade, a new semester, and a new season of Bearcat softball. I caught up with head coach Ryan Anderson on what he expects from the new season.
We hit the ball last year. We did what we were supposed to. We scored runs, and we had 3 pitchers injured. And so we struggled to get people out on a consistent basis. So, that's been the big focus for us, trying to get healthy, trying to get the pitchers ready going into the season. And now we're kind of dealing with the same thing again. So, we'll do our best to hit and, play defense and see what we can do.
And as the cleats start to lace up again, the ladies' schedule brings plenty of opportunities to improve, as Coach Anderson knows this team has more than enough potential into the new year.
Our first 3 weekends are brutal. We're playing some very good teams. Up in Minnesota, we're playing 3 good teams. The following weekend down in Arkansas is the same thing. We're playing, I think, 3 Arkansas schools. So, we're coming out playing big teams and big teams regionally. So, I want to head up there and compete. You can't control outs. You can't control, the plays that the other team makes, but we can control our bats. We're a regional team, and we want to be. So, we got to fight through these little injuries and understand that we can play through them. And, we want to move on to regionals and see how far we can go.
Reporting for Bearcat Update, I'm Nolan Brooks.
Thanks, Nolan. The women will be back in action this weekend, competing in the Alva Early Classic in Monticello, Arkansas. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take another quick break. You're watching Bearcat Update right here on KNWT, Channel 8. Welcome back to Bearcat Update. Northwest Track and Field competed in the Bearcat Open in Hughes Fieldhouse last weekend and set new national and program marks. For the women, Heba Magoo placed second and ran a 54.36 in the 400-meter dash, breaking her own program record and setting a new fastest time in the country this year. Jada Shanklin won the high jump with an automatic qualifying jump of 5.875, good enough for the second best in program history and the 4th highest jump in the country. Moving over to the men, Omar Austin placed second, ran a provisional qualifying time of 6.75 in the 60-meter dash. That time is the new program record and the 9th fastest time in the country. The men's 4x4 relay team of Kaylin Harkey, Tyrell Maddox, Abdulrahim Magoob, and Omar Austin won the event with an automatic qualifying time of 3 minutes, 10 seconds, and 96 milliseconds, which is, of course, a new program record and the 3rd fastest time in the country this year. The team will be back in action this weekend. They'll send a certain group of athletes to the Gorilla Classic in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and another to the Grand Valley State Big Meet in Grand Rapids, Michigan. To close out our episode, I have my pick of the week, and my pick of the week this time around is the women's basketball team. The Bearcats sit at 9th right now in the MIAA. The top 10 teams get into the conference tournament at the end of the season, and Coach Austin Myers preached that getting to Kansas City and Municipal Auditorium is one of the big goals to show the progression of the program from his first year to year 2 with Meyer at the helm. Missouri Southern sits below the Bearcats in the standings of the MIAA. Pitt State, who they'll face on Saturday, sits a couple of spots ahead. And it's a dynamic weekend with both teams, but it would almost solidify their spot in the tournament if they're able to return home with 2 MIAA wins. For that reason, and many more, women's basketball is my pick of the week. That's going to wrap things up for this week's episode of Bearcat Update. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BearcatUpdate_8 and catch all of our previous episodes on YouTube at KNWT8. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Yo, what is up, guys? To watch last week's episode of Bearcat Update, click up here, and to see all of our previous episodes, click down here. See you next week.